In the NFL world, we're removed from the Super Bowl now, a couple of weekends. The Combine's around the corner. Free agency's right around the corner there. And we're in that period where there's so many questions, and you're just not going to get answers, no matter how much you try. No matter how many newsmakers who perhaps have the answers are placed in front of you. For instance, go figure, Chicago Bears decided to have a press conference yesterday to introduce their new offensive coordinator. And it was led by their head coach, Matt Eberflus. Took no questions. Nope. Just went up there, read a statement, and confirmed he is calling the plays defensively.
Yep.
And here is our new offensive coordinator, Shane Waldren. Here he is. And they brought him out. And he's a guy who the Seahawks once upon a time hired, just like it seems everybody else, from the Rams coaching staff. And when he showed up, this was the time when Geno Smith ascended, won comeback player of the year, because he was coming back from lack of opportunities. And Shane Waldren was, as we all might imagine, let go when Pete Carroll was let go. And the Chicago Bears hire him to be the offensive coordinator with the first overall pick sitting out there. And all of us wondering, as we have all week, this has been the week of Justin Fields unfollowing the Bears on Instagram, people noticing that, him telling the St. Brown brothers, I unfollowed them just because I'm going on vacation and the algorithm keeps feeding me stuff about my future, and it's totally up in the air, and I just want to have a complete, total break from this algorithm. What a 21st century story.
The rare guy to admit it, that he unfollowed
I have unfollowed my team because of this crazy-ass algorithm. I can't escape it.
Yeah.
And then here comes Shane Waldren stepping up to the podium. It's just boom, boom, boom. And Shane Waldren asked questions that are just absolutely infused with, who the hell are you drafting first overall? That's all. They're just trying to figure out any way, shape, or form. Because I've asked a number of folks here on this program, how does the hiring of Shane Waldren potentially inform us about what the Bears are going to do with Justin Fields or their first overall pick? And nobody knows. So this was the back and forth between the media and Shane Waldren yesterday.
Having a system that's speaking the same language, that's multiple in its ways that it can attack a defense, then you start to get the players and you start to know what your personnel is going to look like for that season, and then you build it around the player's skill set. And I think, for me, that's been a part of my core beliefs, and I feel like it's worked out well with the different quarterbacks that I've had a chance to be around over the past several years.
Is it safe to say this is an offense, though, whether it's Justin or a college quarterback that, to be named later, that could work for either one of them?
Yeah, I totally believe that. I think in the past experiences, like I said, with different quarterbacks, different experience levels, whether I was in the coordinator role or in a role as a position coach, I felt that way. I felt different quarterbacks have been able to step foot into the system, be able to learn it quickly, and that starts with us being able to teach it in a good and efficient manner where they understand it, and then being able to go and again adjust, because each guy's going to have a different skill set. So what direction does it go? It's the players really take ownership and control of that.
Whoever asked the question about college quarterback to be named later.
That's very funny.
You know what this reminds me of? Because everything goes back to pop culture for me, as you know, and Seinfeld. Do you remember the episode where Kramer got a new phone number and it was only one number off from movie phone?
Yeah, yep.
Back in the day when people used to call a number to find out movie times in their area.
Yep.
And George winds up calling, and Kramer just gives up and just decides to provide the service when people call the wrong number. And so it's like the media here is like, you are selecting Caleb Williams. And they're like, well, no, can't say that. Well, you are selecting Justin Fields.
You are keeping.
No, and it's just, we can't tell you that.
Yeah.
And the media just wants to say, well, why don't you just tell us the name of the quarterback you are selecting? Can you please give us an answer? Because, well, listen, he's not going to sit there and go, well, my system, absolutely, as you saw with Geno Smith, is more tuned to somebody who's less green and has more veteran experience. And the offensive coordinator, well, my scheme is going to be very difficult for a player who has not played football at all, to be named later, to pick up. So they tried another way. God bless. By the way, excellent job by these reporters that were there. Have you spoken to Justin Fields, Shane?
Oh.
Have you connected with him? And this is what he had to say.
Have you had a chance to talk to Justin Fields yet? And are there challenges maybe that come with trying to build that relationship with his sort of uncertain future here?
Yeah, I think whether it's with him or all these guys, part of it's the rules because you can't go out and meet with the guys right now, and we're in that set. But trying to reach out to each guy and give that introduction, and then knowing that the real, like I said, the real relationships, the real conversations are in the future right here, in the near future as we get ready for this thing. But leaving it at that with all these guys, and like I said, I can't wait to get to meet all the guys in person, get a chance to talk with them more. And
So have you talked to him yet or no?
yeah, we've exchanged messages there.
Exchanged messages. Oh.
Well, here's the thing.
Interesting.
The new collective, it's not so new anymore, collective bargaining agreement. Because back when I first started with NFL Network, the voluntary activities were actually communicated by management as mandatory. When players didn't show up for voluntary stuff, it was really pressure-packed for these guys. And coaches made it feel like it may be voluntary, but you better be here. So they eventually just codified that after the season's over, you can't have a guy, you can't put a playbook in their hands, and you can't have a guy in person in your facility. I imagine you can in terms of, rehabbing, but in terms of just talking about plays and getting you in a playbook, nuh-uh. You can't have contact with them. So that's what he's referring to there about the rules. So then it's like, have you texted with a guy? Of course he has. What do you think? The new OC is not going to reach out to Justin Fields? Like we're desperate in the media. We want an answer, and we're just not going to get it for a while because guess what? They are going to have Caleb Williams in a meeting room in Indianapolis next week. They're going to put him on a grease board, and they're going to say, let's talk X's and O's, and they're going to see how they vibe right from get-go. And then they are going to have the kid in for a visit. There's no question in my mind. They are going to show him Hallis Hall. They're going to show him everything. They are going to have him in. They are going to kick tires in a way that they did not last year, unless somebody offers them the Godfather offer that our friend Mike Tannenbaum threw out on ESPN. The Giants, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and Kayvon Thibodeau to move up from 6-1 this year. And then suddenly those plane tickets for Caleb to show up in Hallis Hall might be like, where did those go? Or I don't know where those are. You can just go visit Giordano's on your own. Geno's East. I was a Geno's East guy when I was at Northwestern.
Rich, what if he would have said when they asked had he talked to Justin, would have been like, well, we tried to DM him, but he unfollowed us, so the message won't go through.
So after a while, it's just now time to just say, let's talk Caleb Williams. Just throw that at Shane Waldren. What about Caleb? Hit it.
What are your early impressions of Caleb Williams and who he is as a prospect?
Yeah, I think, from afar, mainly my impression of a lot of these quarterbacks, all the college quarterbacks was, what an unbelievable college season we just came, off of with these guys making some of these dynamic plays down the stretch, whether it was leading into the championship games or the bowl games leading up to that, the regular season. Obviously, for me being out on the West Coast, get a little bit of more exposure to the Pac-12. I guess Pac-12 still last year, as that thing evolves every day in my mind. But so, just in terms of that, it's been more of generalities, seeing all these guys perform at a high level under the national spotlight, especially there's multiple quarterbacks that have already performed on the highest stage, in big games. And obviously he's one of them. And I'm excited to really, when we start this afternoon with some of our draft process, then the combine kicks off, to me, that's the chance to really dive into this and get going.
He's not going to get an answer.
Said a lot of nothing there.
Did he say he watched the games? Did he say, I was out there on the West Coast, so I saw a lot of the games? Oh, my goodness gracious. Go ahead, Mike. Hit it. You got it? You don't have it?
Oh, no.
You don't have it.
Oh, it froze.
Okay, very good.
What were they really thinking?
All right, everybody. Listen. I just got hired. The HC came up here. He didn't answer questions. He just threw me out here. I'm excited to be here. All right? What do you want from me? I'm going to be part of this conversation. You think I'm going to be the one to make this decision around here? You don't think that's going to go straight up to the McCaskey family when it involves Justin Fields? What do you want from me? What do you want me to say? My scheme's more for a veteran instead of a kid? Because what the hell does that mean? I should be able to scheme for anybody. I'm Shane Waldren, an offensive coordinator in the league. Will you please just leave me alone so I can get the hell out of here? I watch a lot of football. You don't think I want to be the coach for Caleb Williams? You don't think I have watched this guy and watched him light it up? You don't think that I don't know that this is the golden friggin' ticket if he shows up here? And that it's going to be my ass on the griddle if he suddenly can't figure stuff out? Because it sure ain't going to be Eberflus. Because he's just a defensive play caller, and he's handing this off to me, and you get the drift. We're not getting answers. You know how I feel. I'll just say this, though, and then we'll get to Tommy P. Let me say this. The more I think about it, the more I think that if Ryan Poles sits back while he's doing his due diligence and let everybody else meet Caleb Williams too. Bears aren't the only one to meet Caleb Williams this coming up week. And let everyone else check him out. Let the Washington Commanders have him in. Let the Giants have him in. Let the Patriots have him in. Let the Falcons have him in. Let the Broncos have him in. Sit back and see who does want to put the gun next to the contract and say either your first-round draft choices or we'll blow your brains out with Caleb Williams ourselves. We'll be on this table. And then they figure out, let's keep Justin Fields. Everybody loves him. We love him. We know him. We've got 39 games with him. And then we're going to build around him, and we are going to dominate as well. Because you're going to get two outstanding kids in the top 10 of the draft, because you're not moving out of the top 10. But the Broncos would have to literally give up the state of Colorado to move up from 12 to 1, and they don't have the capital, as they're still digging out from the Russell Wilson stuff, right? So the more I think of it, I'm wondering, do they stand pat too? You know how I've been sitting here saying it's a no-brainer. I think Caleb Williams is the guy. And then I see Kurt Warner tweeting out this morning, and I, as you know, love this man, and I listen to him. But put up on the screen, Kurt's getting ready for the combine, and he tweeted out, I'll be the first to admit I'm not a college football expert. I really only watch intently when preparing for combine and draft, but trying to do a piece on relatable throws top guys made that they will be asked to make at combine. After 6 games of 2 of top guys, I saw slants, outs, and 2 in routes. I'm sure there are. Just hard to believe it's taking me so much time to find them. That's where my perspective is coming from, this AM. And his perspective is he can't figure out. He cannot figure out how you can make an evaluation on these kids because of what he's seeing on tape is just not enough of kids thinking for themselves. He just can't see it. He wrote also, I know many of you love college football, but as I start to dive into these college QBs, it's hard for me to even watch. Very few plays on schedule. The pass concepts are a mess most of the time. They run the same play over and over, a million bubble screens. Can't find many concepts that translate to the next level, and then people are asked to figure out how good they will be at the next level? Nearly impossible in my mind. For me, C.J. Stroud is a great example. Obviously really good in college, and Ohio State runs more pro-style concepts than most, but they didn't ask him to process and get the ball out as quickly as he did last year in Houston, so I had no idea he would be so good at processing so fast. He's better in the NFL than what we got to see in college, but many times you just don't know until you know. And as you heard, one of the two people he saw film of, top two guys, one of them has got to be Caleb Williams.
Wow.
At least Justin, you've seen 39 games of him. Food for thought, man. And I can't wait to go to the Combine next week and hear exactly what people are thinking, because they will let you know. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.